So the human brain is literally wired, designed, some might say, to pay more attention to the negative. So if you pay more attention to the negative, you're normal. Now, that doesn't mean you have to live that way. I think something we need to actively cultivate is our ability to appreciate and to hold on to happiness, joy, self-love, love for others, very intentionally. So something I do and I teach my clients is when you have those spontaneous moments where you look up in the sky and see a rainbow, or you see your dog or cat rolling over and doing cartwheels and you just find yourself laughing out loud, or your child is taking their first steps and your heart is bursting with pride, just pause for a moment and savor that. It's also a mindfulness practice, which is also extremely helpful for healing our inner child, is being mindful. Last thing I would say, you and I share a love for curiosity. Curiosity really not only nurtures our creativity and helps us develop that in the world, but it's the best way I know to deal with rejection sensitivity, imposter syndrome, limiting beliefs, negative self-talk. I just asked a client yesterday because she was signing a contract with a big company. She was really excited for the opportunity. And then all of a sudden they weren't responding to her emails. And she thought, oh gosh, they've changed their mind. They don't want to work with me. I'm not good enough. You know, the whole cascade of thoughts. And I asked her to just pause, take a little walk, clear her head, and then ask herself, what else could it mean? Write it down. What else could it mean? Write it down. What else? And do it 3 to 5 times. And the reason why is most curious, creative people are actually good storytellers. Human beings are meaning-making machines. We thrive on storytelling. We tell ourselves stories all the time. So instead of telling yourself the story that they don't like me, they don't want me, I'm not good enough, they changed their mind, they realize it would have been a horrific mistake to work with me, ask yourself, what else could it mean? And you will begin to realize most of the time when you're jumping to conclusions and you're feeling rejected and you're imagining the worst, and of course it's the worst about you, most of the time it has nothing to do with you. You actively need to cultivate your brain's ability to get out of the negativity bias and begin to cultivate curiosity and creativity. And that is a very easy way to do it, where you realize, oh, actually, certainly she called me later on yesterday and said, it happened. They called me and said, we had this situation.
Hold that thought. Please continue.
She got a call back from the client later on in the day, and they said, oh, we're so terribly sorry to keep you hanging. One of the principals in the company just let us know he's resigning, and everything went sideways. And she said, perfectly understood. Let me know when you're ready to resume our conversations. But she had to sort of systematically deconstruct the negativity bias in her brain, which had her thoroughly convinced that she was being rejected. And the funny thing is, not funny, more ironic, that we are so convinced that whatever we're thinking is true. I bet you could pass a lie detector test on your own negative self-talk because you're completely convinced it's true when it isn't. We can absolutely change our thoughts for the better, spring clean our brain. Just identify what are your top 5 negative thoughts, the ones that you think so routinely. And if you don't know what they are, be curious, pay attention, don't judge, just write them down and then create a process of transforming them using the ThinkUp app or any other tool that you already like.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And what I love about what you've shared with us is the way that we can take a moment right now and apply what Diann has said. Take a moment right now, whatever that thing is that has been filling your brain, as we spring clean it and power step our way into spring clean, as we step into our success and transform our stress to success, how you can take a pause and come back to it and go, what exactly is that we're telling ourselves? What's it that our inner child is saying? And what's actually happening? Is it real or is it not? And so take some time to just be with that. And you'll see below ways to stay in contact with Diann and be in touch with this powerhouse of a woman, right? That can take some time to really be able to see how when we feel like we're getting pulled in many different directions and our mind is filled,